Where to next?
Where to next?
40K shit.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Team Adventurous.
Hey.
We're gonna react. We're gonna react to this thing from MajorKill right here. Servitors played by an Australian. But first, we're gonna have a nice little appetizer react to Imperial Guardsmen when Zeech appears in their dreams by Barry Waltz.
Oh my!
Because I fucking love this meme.
May I help you?
We'll be asking the questions, old man. Who are you?
You.
No, not me. You.
Yes, I am you.
Just answer the damn questions. Who are you?
I have told you.
Are you deaf?
No, you is blind.
I'm not blind. You blind.
Oh my god! Oh. Yeah.
Oh, and after the fact, I'm gonna watch this
G'day.
one just for the fucking shits and giggles of it because Siege fascinates me. But we're gonna react to this newer one.
Yeah.
Servitors explained by an Australian.
Rising gal.
Oh dear, wearing his bathrobe.
What was that?
I said, "Oh dear, he's wearing his bathrobe."
I know, right? That means we're probably gonna get a look at his not so exquisite ass.
Overwhelming disability and dementia are just some examples. However, there is a fate worse than all of that by far, and that fate is to become lobotomized, mutilated, and forced into mechanical slavery to perform horrific, agonizing tasks. Your name is struck from the annals of history. It's not uncommon for part of your consciousness to be left intact, so you're actually aware of what has been done to you. Arguably, the most grimdark part of the Imperium is just how common servitors are. The Mechanicus uses like 1,000,000,000 billion trillion of them as soldiers and laborers. Pretty much every rich person in the Imperium has numerous servitor servants. Hell, I'm sure that it's not even entirely uncommon for restaurants to use them here and there. So many people suffering a face worse than death, and nobody bats an eye. Like, when I read Warhammer 40k books, I've actually become a bit desensitized to it. Like, oh yeah, another servitor. Almost.
Oh yeah, another abomination beyond human imagination. Except, oh wait, they did imagine it.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, but you know, see, we're actually desensitizing you and conditioning you for hell. I'm just kidding.
It feels like I'm reading about like a Roomba or something. But then I remember, wait a minute. This is a single mother who stole bread to feed her starving child. Now her child is dead, and she's a lobotomized robotic sex slave. So bad. Before we get started, last video,
I like how he says it with a casual, like, eerie, like he's like,
I mean, but I would argue when it comes to, I mean, especially having read The Founding, and I know I'm probably going to get stoned by a whole bunch of 40k people, but it was like reading the instructional manual to a Roomba.
I am not as far. Have you read the whole thing, Caitlin?
No.
Okay, I'm still. Yeah, I'm not even close to all the way through it. See, I'm right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
How far you are.
Saying, like, as far as caliber of writing goes, it's. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm enjoying learning more about the 40k verse, but Dan Abnett is not the best.
Not a writer.
He's average.
Making before I go to Europe for a couple of weeks, and boy am I exhausted if you couldn't tell. I've been making a video pretty much every day for the last 2 weeks, so I'll be able to pre-make some content for you guys while I'm away. So if you see a MajorKill upload pop up next week, that's why. I'm going to hit the Greek islands, then do Running with the Bulls in Spain, before finishing up in
Be careful.
I hope you survive, bro.
Yeah, be careful. Do not get gored.
Oh, I need this, because when I've got some insane things about to launch. A whole new merch range that doesn't involve miniatures, a new calendar coming, and a brand new website. MajorKill minis. You know, business, you've got to do at some point. I get back on the 18th of July, and from there, it's just go, go, go for the rest of the year. I'm really going to try and go Super Saiyan. My goal is 420,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That would be cool. Today, we'll go over the lore of the Servitors, what types there are, how they are made, and why the Imperium uses them in such large numbers when it's clear.
What?
I said 420,000, huh?
How is. I'll also try and include some cheeky fun servitor lore facts you probably didn't know about. Let's get into it.
All right.
Before we get into that,
Let's buckle down for the hellscape that is unimaginable human suffering.
Right, here we
how,
go.
let's talk about the why. Why does humanity create servitors? After all, basic robots should be able to do everything the servitors do except better. I mean, look at the Mechanicus Castellan robots. They don't need obscene human right abuses to work. Well, there is actually a good reason why. Back when humanity was peaking a few thousand years ago, they used fully sentient AI as their servants. These AI were called the Men of Iron, and they were very impressive, powerful, and a massive asset to humanity. Until they fucking weren't. I guess humanity hadn't seen iRobot, The Matrix, or Terminator, as the Men of Iron rose up against their human masters and caused humanity's empire to shatter. Although humanity would eventually win the war, they had lost most of their technology, military power, unity, and population. For the next 5,000 years, mankind degraded and genuinely looked to be on the path to extinction, until a big sexy tan motherfucker called the God Emperor of Mankind emerged, and he sorted shit out. Due to the uprising of the Men of Iron, something that the Emperor was present for and experienced firsthand, true AI was outlawed. The funny man even renamed AI from artificial intelligence to abominable intelligence. As a result of this, humanity started lobotomizing and merging people with machinery to create robotic servants. However, as they were controlled by a human brain, it technically didn't count as AI, so all was well. Wait a minute, MajorKill, what about the robots the Mechanicus use? Those robots are extremely primitive and non-sentient. They follow commands and subroutines given to them by their tech priest masters. What little personality they have comes from their machine spirit, which also avoids being called AI out of convenience and technicalities. So why don't they just use mechanical robots instead of servitors? Well, that wouldn't be very grimdark, would it? Also, Castellan robots are expensive to create and require a tech priest to command them, not practical on a large scale, so servitors were the perfect new robot slaves. Now we have the why. What about the how they're made? Well, a servitor isn't just one thing that has one method of creation and one purpose. You can have weapon servitors, cleaning servitors, cumsock servitors, zero rights, so you can literally do anything you want to them. Ironically, the Mechanicus have a significantly more ethical approach to most of their servitors.
Japanese toaster
They grow them in
servitors.
a vat.
I said Japanese toaster servitors.
You know, the ones.
I do it back.
And when they're ready, they lobotomize them and attach the appropriate mechanical enhancements. This can be pretty random depending on what the Mechanicus needs. Servitors can range from receiving tank treads and metal support so they can carry around heavy shit to a full-on Battlelord Sexmaster 9000 that can simultaneously purge the enemies of the Omnissiah in glorious combustible fashion, whilst also being able to satisfy the needs of an entire Sister of Battle convent in one session. Yeah, sure, it's still fucked up what they had. But at least most Mechanicus servitors didn't know a life before servers. The Imperium, on the other hand, mostly uses servitorization, yeah, sure, that's a fucking word, against criminals and heretics.
It is now.
Stand. You defeat a chaos cult and capture hundreds of members. Do you blow their brains out, or turn them into battle servitors and use them to take out the next chaos cult you uncover? Likewise, hard to feel too bad for murderers, rapists.
And I mean, it's, to be fair, in that circumstance, it's like you were literally worshiping you knew what you were doing. You were worshiping literal demons to bring ruin and destruction to your fellow humans.
Right.
At that, you deserve to be made into a servitor.
Right.
Like, you deserve the fate worse than death at that point.
Yeah.
You really do.
Well, I mean, that's kind of like what they used to do back in like old Greco-Roman culture, sometimes in the more primitive eras when they would go through and they would like just gut entire areas that were populated, and then they would take all of those people and they would cut all the men's balls off and just like put them into their army and be like, okay, well, now you guys have to, you know, fight all of these people. And, you know, and if they did well, sometimes they got their freedom, but, you know, was it really worth it? Is the question.
I wouldn't fight for people to chop my balls off. I'd be like, you're gonna have to kill me, because the second you put me in a position where I'm able to stab any of you, I'm gonna stab as many of you as I can.
Yeah. Yeah.
The snip and are now forced into being cleaning servitors, who have their necks locked in place so that they can only look at the floor they are forced to clean. It's hard to actually say what the exact process of creating a servitor is like because it's so varied. Some are ushered into a factory like a bunch of livestock, getting stunned and sliced up before being put back together. Others are handmade over time to be living weapons. The Mechanicus even try to make their own version of a Primarch, called the Archimandrite, which was more or less a giant metal battle servitor with enhanced intelligence and the ability to maintain its free will. Yeah, that didn't go so well. It's common to study chapters.
Imagine not.
Yeah, that was definitely ill-advised.
Into servitors. Often this is intelligence and the ability to maintain its free will. Yeah, that didn't go so well. It's numerous Astarte chapters to turn failed aspirants into servitors. Often this is because a failed aspirant is too physically and mentally retarded after failing the process to become a marine. Hence, becoming a servitor will probably be an upgrade for their previous status. Some chapters do it even if the failed aspirant was still intact and healthy, so yeah, that sucks. Imagine that. It'd be like running a race, and if you come first, you get $1 billion and unrestricted access to Megan Fox's bleached asshole. But if you
Unrestricted access.
Oh.
Oh my god.
You get railed by an AIDS-stricken silverback gorilla every day for a year. That is what it's like for those aspirants. The really grimdark part is that when the Imperium decides that petty criminals, or just undesirable members of society, would make great servitors. This commonly happens when there is a servitor shortage due to war or whatever. Hence, normal emperor-fearing imperial citizens who have unpaid debts, stole a bit of food, or are just in the wrong place at the wrong time can all suffer a horrific fate. This hits a bit close to home for me as an Australian. When the first fleet of convicts was shipped over here to eventually become the most successful prison colony on the planet, a title I wear with pride, most of those convicts were petty criminals who stole a bit of bread or whatever. Thank fuck for them they did it in the 1800s instead of the 41st millennium. In terms of how physically impressive a servitor can be, there is literally
and political prisoners.
What was that?
I said petty criminals and political prisoners.
It's common for battle servitors to carry heavy bolters attached to their arms, or even the super deadly plasma cannons that no one else wants to carry. Take it a step further, and you can have large mecha servitors that can cut a space marine in half without too much drama. I mean, did you know that hunter servitors used to exist? They were servitors the size of warships that patrolled the Sol system. Probably one of the coolest types of servitors is the Archoflagellants, basically a human-sized servitor that is enhanced beyond all belief, getting grafted reinforced muscles, extremely deadly electric whips for arms, and enough drugs and stimulants to make Charlie Sheen look like a lightweight. Archoflagellation is reserved for the real bad criminals. A, because they're hard to make, and B, even the Imperium is like, yeah, no, fuck, that would suck. In order to control these hectic berserkers, whenever there is no combat, their helmet plays nice ecclesiarch-approved hymns and music, while showing them soothing iconography of the Emperor. This puts them in a dormant lullaby state. However, when it's killing time, the helmet is deactivated and they are shot up with a liter of go-go juice straight into their nervous system. At this, they are unleashed, wildly strong, fast and durable, only dying if they're blown to pieces or they overdose on all the drugs in their body. It's usually the latter. In order to avoid friendly fire, the helmet they wear doesn't mark friendlies as friendly. It simply hides them from the Archoflagellant's vision. So we can still run into them and kill them by accident, but these friendly casualties are considered just a part of the job description. While servitors are lobotomized, sometimes their consciousness and personalities can break through at times of...
And we're not thinking about the fact that part of the reason why they're doped up as they are is because they're all in incredible pain.
Right. It's like that's a very, very good point. Without that fucking constant stream of stimulants, they wouldn't be able to move.
Right.
Extreme stress, or if they are particularly strong-willed. Some sadistic tech priests even allow some servitors' consciousness to live on, witnessing their slavery and feeling its agony but powerless to stop it. Other servitors require more brain function and sentience to complete their tasks. For example, in the Ravenor trilogy, a pilot servitor starts dishing out some sass and even gets panicked during a time of extreme stress. Another example is during the War in the Webway, a combat servitor is mortally wounded by a demon. As it lays there dying, its last thoughts are of its children and how they cried as she was pulled away from them to be turned into a servitor. It didn't suddenly become human as it was dying, it was still very much a servitor. However, just before its death, it had a flicker of memory before the light was snuffed out. There's even cases of servitors breaking through and fully regaining their independence and sentience. Depending how they were augmented, this could have resulted in them either becoming the main character from Cyberpunk or completely horrified about their mutilated body. The point I'm trying to make is that it's really hard to quantify what a servitor is exactly, as it could be so many things. However, the basic premise is the same, and that premise is that being a servitor sucks mammoth cock. Turns out I'm so zoinked I forgot to actually record my outro. I've literally never done that before. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, what is the place to be? Only $1 per month gives you access to a boatload of Battle Mace 40 million schmentai. Hit the subscribe button and hit the real subscribe button for more shit content. Join the Discord for more memes and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
My God. It's like, see, so even he has off days too.
Yeah. I don't think it is hard to say what a servitor is exactly. They're still human. They've just been grotesquely, unquantifiably, and often, I would say almost always irrevocably maimed.
Yeah.
That doesn't make them less human. It makes the people that did that to them less human.
Yeah.
The only time I think it's acceptable to turn someone into a servitor is, he was butchering kids for the fun of it. He's a chaos cultist. Yeah, that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rest of it is pure fucking evil. But that's 40K.
Right. Exactly.
We're grimdark. We're just grimdark all over everything. Just grimdark. Grimdark in your face. So dark, grim.
You almost slipped into jerf there. You were like right on the edge.
These kids can't fix it. They're really effective. They imagine all kinds of effective shit. Like, can you imagine being strapped into a fucking bed bag? It's constantly fucking has things piercing your beard, making you experience unquantifiable agony. And you get a much first. It's like a bunch of fucking chaos hornlings, and they're gonna rip at you and murderize you as you're fucking ripping and murderizing them. It's fucked up. And that's why I have a 40K. My name's Jerv.
Welcome to the adventure.
Sure.